Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football Dill. For a lot of us Michigan fans, this is the biggest weekend of our year, right? And we've talked extensively about the Ohio State game. Some interesting developments starting to play out on the recruiting trail as well, including a surprise visitor and potentially another massive visitor for Michigan on the trail. And Dill, let's just be frank about it. I know there are a lot of Michigan fans that might not be sold on Sherrone Moore as the head football coach. You make no mistake about it. It has revolutionized how Michigan moves on the recruiting trail, especially late in the process, especially late in cycles. I'm not sure how many, I don't think we can match the fireworks that we saw last class. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some fireworks over the next couple of days and weeks. Want to start with Salesi Moa. But at the end of the episode, this is what we're going to do. And it's an open invitation to the Michigan fans. If you are watching this on a late Friday morning after Thanksgiving Day, chances are you live and breathe this stuff. Which name do you want to see Michigan close on the most? Let it fly in the comment section. Appreciate you guys. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Dill, without further ado, let's start with Salesi Moa. Now, a name that many Michigan fans are familiar with because he took an official visit to Michigan in the summer. Michigan pushed for him pretty damn hard. He ended up kind of surprisingly committing to Tennessee. Dill, this kid's a fascinating prospect, two-way guy that could play wide receiver, could play defensive back. I got two questions for you. Number one, general takes on Salesi Moa. Number two, what position do you think he will play if Michigan ends up landing this commitment?
I feel like he's probably going to be on the defensive side of the ball.
Me too.
And with that, I kind of wonder whether it's going to be safety or will he ever kick it down to linebacker? Like, he's an interesting one where I don't exactly see quite where he's going to fit right now, because I do think he kind of sits in that hybrid area. A guy who I do think can get quite a bit bigger. I think his dad played running back at Utah. Yeah. So he's got genes to be a decent sized guy. That, to me, I think defense makes more sense just because I think he's a good athlete. I don't know that he's elite wide receiver athlete, but he is a really good football player. And to me, that probably matters more on the defensive side.
I think you summed it up perfectly. He's a top 100 prospect for a reason. I'm certainly in no position at 5'8", $160, and probably going 5+5 in the 40-yard dash. And certainly going +5 seconds in the 40-yard dash. I ain't in a situation to call a kid a bad athlete who's a top 100 prospect. I do think you said it right. He is a better football player than he is athlete. And I am very much with you with this kid playing defense. And it really just comes down to the football IQ. Go back to a guy like Rod Moore, Dill. Rod Moore was not healthy Rod Moore was not the most juiced up athlete we saw at Michigan, right? The football IQ, the playmaking instincts in the back end, just seemingly always being in the right spot at the right time to make plays. That's what Salesi Moa reminds you of. I didn't think of a linebacker, though, Dill, and this is the reason I'm a fan of this kid. And this is why I would love to see him play for Michigan is, Michigan with Lamar Morgan, we want to be versatile. We move guys around. Think about a guy like Mason Curtis or TJ Metcalf. We're going to put them in a lot of different positions around the football field. You can do similar things with Salesi Moa. Can play the deeper third, can come up into the tackle box. You are right, because he has two brothers who I believe he's got a brother who plays linebacker for Michigan State. It's a big family. Would not be surprised if this kid gets up to around 220 pounds. Maybe he does play a little off-ball linebacker, knowing damn well that Michigan really does like athletes at the linebacker position.
Well, I almost see what Mason Curtis is doing and how they kind of moved him down into the box. And again, I think Salesi Moa probably can get bigger than Mason Curtis. So we'll see kind of where they shake out. But that sort of role feels kind of in line of where I'd almost want him.
And again, it's when you find yourself saying, all right, good football player, seemingly good fit in this Michigan defense, that's what makes you feel good about these kids. All right, another name that me and you both like a heck of a lot more than what his ranking is, Adrian Hamilton. 3-star offensive lineman committed to Virginia Tech. It sounds like Michigan's pushing really hard to have him be the last offensive lineman in this cycle. you know why he's not ranked all that high. He's 6'2.5", right? And I'll just say this, like hand up, there seems to be too much of a movement towards the traits, and we don't value the good football players enough. And you look at Adrian Hamilton, plays left tackle in high school, like really good athlete, light on his feet, fires out of his stance. Thoughts on Adrian Hamilton? Thoughts on what it would look like if he does come to Michigan over the next couple of years?
Well, it's super clean. Like, I think a really high floor. You're probably right. I mean, again, there is a reason why NFL teams want 6'5" plus at the tackle spot.
Yeah.
It certainly matters. So it's not to say, like, again,
Yep.
is his ceiling like first round NFL draft pick? Yeah, maybe it's frankly not. But like, you look at how well he plays, and again, really smooth, functional athlete for that size in the high school ranks, and just like a very polished player. Like, seems like he's been well coached. Doesn't look like one of those like big sloppy kids that like,
Dude,
yeah, they're big
I
enough
mean,
to dominate.
carries the weight. I mean, he's 6'2", 290, and you said it like, oh, like what's the body composition look like? The body composition is really damn good with this kid. You said it best, describing Adrian Hamilton as a ball player. High floor guy. Like, he probably won't start year one, probably won't start year two with the young offensive line pipeline Michigan has. I would be stunned if he's not a 2-year starter for Michigan at the end of his career, like 4th year, 5th year guy that is a very reliable interior offensive lineman that could potentially play center for you as well. Here's the last thing that I'll say, though, and I think this is important to note. Michigan's leaning into the athletes. This is the biggest storyline for Michigan this year, is that we are a much more athletic offensive line that can do different things than we've been in the past. A lot more outside zone, pulling guys play side. Adrian Hamilton, that kind of guy. You want to run the football, you have to run the football in different ways. Michigan's run game has been really diverse. Adrian Hamilton can be that kind of guy. The last one, what I think seemingly is the crown jewel. This is my answer. I'll just spoil the end. Like, if there was one guy I would like to see Michigan land, it's probably Havon Finney, currently committed to LSU. We're not sure if he's going to take a visit or not. This is how it seemingly is going to go with Havon Finney. LSU is going to make a coaching hire on Sunday morning, whether that's Lane Kiffin, whether that's somebody else. What does defensive backs coach Corey Raymond do? If Corey Raymond stays at LSU, Havon Finney probably sticks with LSU. If Corey Raymond does not stay with LSU, I think the door is open for Michigan to get this one done. Prototypical NFL caliber cornerback, man. I mean, 6'2", $180, 10.8 in the 100-meter dash, goes up against some of the best wide receivers out there in the state of California. To me, this is important because I look, and I'm sorry I'm talking a little long here, Dylan. You're going to yell at me, but Ohio State wide receivers, Oregon wide receivers, USC wide receivers, the Big Ten landscape has changed. You are going to see some of the best wide receivers consistently in this conference. You got to have cornerbacks that can cover. Havon Finney's that guy.
And I do think, like, this is where I wrestle with the cornerback position in general for Michigan, is I don't think they necessarily need this like top tier level guy. Because again, when you bring in 3 guys from last year who, again, certainly one of them in Jaden Sanders is already kind of outplaying where he came in the rankings. Shamari Earls, you're certainly very excited about. And you do have, like, again, a really good young pipeline, I'd say, for that position. But I still think Michigan needs to land somebody. Now, I'm not like in the boat that it needs to be Havon Finney necessarily.
Well, it sounds like that's what you're either going to get Havon Finney or nobody. So you better start coming around to the idea that Havon Finney's
well, and it's like, again, you like would love it if it's Havon Finney, but that's where you get it in this new age where you got to balance it out a little bit. Like, would Havon Finney be like a must get in this class? I don't think so. I think defensive line was much more of a must get. Like, they needed to land a handful of big time guys, and they were obviously able to do it. Cornerback, though, is still a position they better bring a guy in. Like, I hate the idea of seeing a empty class in the 2026 cycle.
Yeah, the reason I lean Havon Finney here is he's one of those guys that, man, it's going to be hard to find a guy that has the ceiling that Havon Finney does in the portal. You know, if you go out and land a 3-star late rising cornerback, you can kind of find those guys like a Caleb Anderson in the portal. I'm blanking on the other cornerback we lent, Amir Hall, last year. Who's the kid from UMass the year prior? You help me out there?
Josh Wallace.
Josh Wallace. Like, Havon Finney, to me, feels a little bit different. Like, though, that's the kind of guy that has cornerback 1 written all over him. And when you have a guy like Havon Finney that can deal with some of the best wide receivers, it really opens up that defense. And yeah, I mean, cornerback's important for Michigan, man, because again, you want to get through teams like Oregon and USC and Ohio State consistently. You need guys that can deal with those physical freaks that those teams are going to have. And I think Havon Finney is one of them. Okay. I'll ask you, is it Havon Finney your guy, Salesi Moa your guy? Who excites you the most? Or is it Adrian Hamilton?
No, I'd say it's Havon Finney still because I think the cornerback's such a big need. Like Salesi Moa, I feel like there are kind of comps, and he'd be
I like him
a much bigger upgrade, I'd say, in either the safety or linebacker room. But I do think, to me, this cornerback spot, they got to get somebody in this class because I don't love that. Again, I just don't like seeing holes. I think that's how you end up in spots where you need to get really desperate in certain years in the portal. And I don't think that's like a great sustainable model. Like, I love the idea of continuing to build the pipeline and having it year after year after year rather than leaving like a gaping hole.
I'll say this too, like cornerback could be I think cornerback's probably a position that we might need to address this year in the portal. Like, yeah, I know I'm kind of putting this conversation more to the portal, but it's Jair Hill is probably going to the NFL, I think. And if we get Jair Hill back, that conversation changes. Zeke Berry will does he have one more year left? I should probably know this, but I'm not sure.
He does have
I think he's a redshirt junior, right? But I don't like Josiah Edmond probably transfers, right? Like Josiah Edmonds behind the 3 true freshman cornerbacks. And so Michigan might try to add a body in the portal. We'll see. We'll get into that conversation when we need to. We focus on beating Ohio State and making a run in the college football playoffs right now. We'll close it there. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We'll talk to y'all later.